One note before you watch. At the beginning of the interview, we asked the most obvious question, which is, why did you do this? Did you feel a threat, an imminent physical threat? And that's your justification. And the answer we got shocked us. Who blew up Nord Stream?
You for sure.
Thank you. It's a formidable series.
That is why I asked you at the beginning. Are we going to have a serious talk or a show? You said a serious talk. So bear with me, please. I do not want you to take it as if I'm looking for a strong word or an insult. But we both understand what is happening. So if you don't mind, I will take only 30 seconds or 1 minute to give you a short reference to history for giving you a little historical background.
Please.
3 hours later.
I repeat, demanding that they send them to rulers of Russian origin and Orthodox faith. When Warsaw did not answer them, and in fact rejected their demands, they turned to Moscow, so that Moscow took them away. So that you don't think that I'm inventing things. I'll give you these documents.
Well, it doesn't sound like you're inventing it. I'm not sure why it's relevant to what happened 2 years ago.
6.5 hours later.
With Hitler and engaged together in the partitioning of Czechoslovakia.
But may I ask you, you're making the case that Ukraine, certainly parts of Ukraine, Eastern Ukraine, is in effect Russia has been for hundreds of years. Why wouldn't you just take it when you became president 24 years ago? You have nuclear weapons, they don't. If it's actually your land, why did you wait so long?
I'll tell you. I'm coming to that. This briefing is coming to an end. It might be boring, but it explains many things.
I just don't know how it's relevant.
3 weeks later.
In 1654.
Exactly.
You obviously have encyclopedic knowledge of this region, but why didn't you make this case for the first 22 years as president that Ukraine wasn't a real country?
Many months later.
I understand that my long speeches probably fall outside of the genre of the interview. That is why I asked you at the beginning. Are we going to have a serious talk or a show? You said a serious talk. So bear with me, please. We're coming to the point where the Soviet Ukraine was established. Then, in 1991, the Soviet Union collapsed. And everything that Russia had generously bestowed on Ukraine was dragged away by the latter. I'm coming to a very important point of today's agenda.
Thank you.
Later, that the old narrator got tired of waiting and they had to hire a new.
Really, my question is, what do you do about it? I mean, Hitler's been dead for 80 years. Nazi Germany no longer exists. And so, true. And so, I think what you're saying is you want to extinguish or at least control Ukrainian nationalism, but how? How do you do that?
Вот послушайте меня. Ваш вопрос очень тонкий.
Listen to me. Your question is very subtle, and I can tell you what I think. Do not take offense.
Of course.
Он, казалось бы, тонкий, он очень противный, этот вопрос.
This question appears to be subtle. It is quite pesky. You say Hitler has been dead for so many years, 80 years, but his example lives on.
Even if it makes our own country poorer and dirtier and more divided. The speech says, look, our civilization is superior and we need to defend it. What's wrong with saying that? There are still lessons to draw from 9/11, ones that we shouldn't forget. There's this one maybe first among them. Not all cultures are the same, not all cultures are equal. Demographic change on this country, their political success does not depend on good policies, but on demographic replacement. And they'll do anything to make sure it happens. I just am for Americans, and nobody cares about them. It's like, shut up, you're dying. Supremacy is not ubiquitous in America. It's not a crisis. It's not even a meaningful category. It is incredibly rare. You could easily live your entire life in this country without meeting a single person who believes anything like that. Most of us have lived lives like that. I have. It's a safe space, except white men, they are hated and despised. You divide people on the basis of their skin color and say this one group of people's lives matter. Everybody's life matters. Many of us here who do like this country, we live here. We don't want to destroy it. We have every right to fight to preserve our nation and our heritage and our culture. My question was a little more specific. It was, of course, not a defense of Nazis, neo or otherwise.
You for
I
sure.
think that's a I think that's a fair assessment. The question is, don't know how it's relevant.
Ну, отлично. Тогда мне очень
Good.
приятно, что вы так это оценили.
Good.
Спасибо большое.
I'm so gratified that you appreciate that. Thank you. So, before World War II, as the Poles had not given the Danzig corridor to Germany, it went too far, pushing Hitler to start World War II by attacking them. Why was it Poland against whom the war started on 1st September 1939? Poland turned out to be uncompromising, and Hitler had nothing to do but start implementing his plans with Poland.
Read our law carefully and pay attention to its name. It's called a ban on the propaganda of pedophilia and homosexuality. Ban on the propaganda of pedophilia and homosexuality. There are countries, including in Europe, where they're debating the possibility of legalizing pedophilia.
Классов детям навязывали извращения, которые ведут, и предлагали сделать операцию по смене пола. Но разве мы все этого хотим для своей страны и для своих детей?
So when does the AI empire start, do you think?
Маска, я думаю, что Маска остановит.
Well, I think there's no stopping Elon Musk. He will do as he sees fit. Nevertheless, you need to find some common ground with him, search for ways to persuade him. I think he's a smart person. I truly believe he is.
Elon Musk did something yesterday. He retweeted a post, a highly offensive anti-Semitic post. What do you know about that?
He sure did. You guys, the post was by a user on X that claimed the Jewish communities push, quote, hatred against whites. He responded saying, quote, "You have said the actual truth."
It's not my business.
Shall we end here, or is there anything else?
On February 22nd, 2022, you addressed your country in a nationwide address when the conflict in Ukraine started. And you said that you were acting because you had come to the conclusion that the United States, through NATO, might initiate a, quote, surprise attack on our country. And to American ears, that sounds paranoid. Tell us why you believe the United States might strike Russia out of the blue. How did you conclude that?
It's not that America, the United States, was going to launch a surprise strike on Russia. I didn't say that.
One eternity later.
Shall we end here, or is there anything else?
No, I think that's great.
Спасибо.
Howdy everybody. I just wanted to let you know that for the cost of a cup of coffee, you can unlock bonus uncensored episodes of Mind Explosions by going to patreon.com/the Serfs. Our videos couldn't exist without your support, and all our content is released early to our Patreon subscribers, as well as a ton of extra content you can't get anywhere else. Please like, subscribe, and thumbs up this channel. And if you're feeling extra perky, share it anywhere you think people would like to see or learn from our videos.
Thank you so much for watching, everybody. Can you please hit the like and subscribe button and maybe leave a comment? It really does help the videos out. But first, the people who produce everything you see before you and make this entire channel possible: Amazing Fletch, Anna Loves Riley, Ariane McCarthy, Cheryl Alvarez, Doug Caddy, Everything Important, Hagbard Celine, Multimondi, Omni, Peanut Butter Blondie, Political Puppy, Quiet 185, Rachel K, Riley and Anna, Roller Dragon, Ruby K, Cernicus, Spinach Monster, Stellar Vision, Sebastian Demel, Trevbot.exe, Words Greenwood, and Travis McClinton. And also, thank you to every other person who helps fund this show. Their names are on the screen right now. It would not be possible without every single one of them. We cannot thank you enough. And if you want to join the Patreon, please come to patreon.com/theserfs and help us exist.